Cardano breakdown and ETF details. Cardano just stepped onto Wall Street's main stage. Grayscale filed an S1 for a Cardano spot ETF, and New York Stock Exchange ARCA posted the companion 19B4 listing proposal in the Federal Register. Translation: the mechanics are finally in motion for a US listed product that would actually hold ADA directly. Real coins, not futures. That's fresh, and it's big. Welcome back to another episode of JRNY TV. My name is Nick, and this is where we break down the biggest moves in crypto and digital finance with zero fluff. And today we are unpacking Cardano's new ETF push, what ADA is, how it works, what's on its roadmap, the bullish catalysts that are lining up, and why some people are now tossing around ADA at $10 again. Buckle up. Also, please don't forget to check out our free 22-video Crypto 101 course and other useful crypto resources in this video description. This is a bit of a game changer for the newcomers that are now learning to navigate the wild world of crypto. So, what is ADA? ADA is a proof-of-stake blockchain built around the Ouroboros family of protocols, peer-reviewed, academic, and designed for security plus sustainability. ADA utilizes an extended UTXO model for predictable smart contract behavior, and the native token ADA powers fees, staking, and governance. In short though, research-driven POS, energy light with an emphasis on formal methods and long-term upgrades. It doesn't get any better. ADA itself is the network's currency. It is utilized to pay for transactions and to participate in staking, delegating to stake pools, with governance features rolling out as Cardano completes its decentralization era. Think of it as the fuel plus the coordination token for an ecosystem that is aiming to scale clearly without giving up any security. What the ADA token is and what is its utility. ADA is the native token of Cardano, and it sits at the center of everything that the network does. First and foremost, ADA is utilized to pay transaction fees across the blockchain. Every transfer, every single smart contract execution, or even dApp interactions, they require ADA as fuel, which ties the network activity directly to token demand. Because ADA utilizes its extended UTXO model, the transactions are predictable, and they keep fees relatively low, which makes ADA practical for both small users and large applications alike. ADA also secures the network through staking. Cardano runs on Ouroboros, a proof-of-stake consensus protocol where holders can delegate their ADA to stake pools in return for rewards. This makes ADA not just a passive currency, but rather an asset that actually generates yield while simultaneously helping protect the chain. With thousands of active pools, ADA has one of the most decentralized staking ecosystems in crypto today. And that broad participation, it is strengthening its reputation as a very secure and resilient blockchain. Another incredible key piece of utility is governance. As ADA moves deeper into its Voltaire era, ADA holders will gain greater influence over its upgrades, treasury allocations, and community-driven proposals. The governance model here ensures that the people actually holding and staking ADA have a direct say in the future direction of the network. The move toward community-led decision-making is meant to complete Cardano's path toward full decentralization. Lastly, ADA is the default settlement layer for applications that are built on Cardano. From DeFi protocols to NFT marketplaces and identity solutions, projects rely on ADA for core functionality. As ecosystem adoption expands, specifically with new institutional interest that's sparked by ETF filings, the token's role grows from being just a fee and staking asset to actually becoming the heartbeat of Cardano's broader financial and digital ecosystem. Grayscale and other ETF filings. So the biggest headline here for ADA is the Grayscale Cardano Trust ETF filing. In late August, Grayscale submitted an S1 registration statement with the SEC, paired with a 19B filing from New York Stock Exchange ARCA aiming to list a spot ADA ETF under the ticker GADA, G-A-D-A. If approved, this fund would hold actual ADA tokens, custodied by Coinbase, thus giving investors regulated on-exchange exposure to Cardano without the complications of wallets, staking setups, or self-custody. It mirrors the playbook utilized by Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, but applied to one of the largest proof-of-stake networks in the market. Market confidence in approval spiked almost instantly. According to prediction platforms like Polymarket, the odds of an ADA ETF jumped to nearly 87%, up from mid-70s just a week prior. Analysts here are noting that this is consistent with the SEC's evolving posture toward altcoin ETFs following Ethereum's green light earlier this year. So while the official headline has been pushed to October 26th of this year, most see this as a routine extension, not a sign of resistance. And that confidence is being priced into ADA itself right now. The bullish momentum is picking up across trading desks and retail sentiment is shifting quietly. It's also very much worth noting that Grayscale isn't the only player in this race. Heavyweights like VanEck, Bitwise, 21 Shares, Franklin Templeton, and CoinShares, just to name a few, have all either filed or expressed serious interest in altcoin ETFs that cover ADA, Solana, XRP, Polkadot, and many other projects. But Grayscale's entry here, it carries serious weight. The firm successfully fought with the SEC in court to get its Bitcoin trust converted into an ETF, and now has an established track record with Ethereum funds as well. If any issuer can push an ADA ETF project over the finish line, Grayscale is one of the most credible contenders in the space. The implications here, they're massive. Make no mistake, a Cardano ETF would not only bring new institutional money into ADA, but also legitimize the network in the eyes of financial advisors, retirement accounts, and even conservative investors who have unfortunately stayed away from unregulated exchanges for years. It could also take a moment to catalyze other altcoin ETF approvals, opening the floodgates for broader adoption across the space. But for Cardano specifically, an ETF, it would make ADA one of the very few assets outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum with direct Wall Street exposure, a fundamental shift that could dramatically expand its investor base and its liquidity. Institutional momentum and whale accumulation. Grayscale's S1 filing for a Cardano spot ETF has set ADA squarely in the institutional conversation. With the SEC approval odds now around 87%, the confidence is spreading. On-chain data backs it up, and whales added over $157 million worth of ADA in August alone, moving long-term supply out of circulation, a very strong bullish signal, so that $1.30 price targets are gaining traction across the technical and sentiment analysis. Those analysts, they're pointing to a tightening range between 82 cents to 84 cents combined with a bullish flag pattern, suggesting a breakout could take ADA toward that $1.15 mark. If forms hold, projections are extending even further, with Fibonacci extensions heading to $4.14. However, through that horizon chart, it requires momentum confirmation. Right now, we are holding support around 80 cents, and it's key, but the breakout level here is 88 cents, and if it hits that target, it could go past $1 and quickly. In August alone, Cardano's community approved a $71 million core protocol fund to push key upgrades: hydroscaling, Ouroboros Leos consensus enhancements, and Project Acropolis, which is a modular node architecture. Fund release is milestone-based with oversight from Intersect, adding execution credibility to the tech roadmap. Meanwhile, the Midnight Privacy sidechain that just integrated with Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin, hinting at fresh DeFi and cross-chain utility action, is a serious catalyst. The broader crypto sentiment, though, is improving as markets price in potential Fed rate cuts, and Bitcoin is now showing strength. Both definitely help altcoins like ADA. Cardano is featured among tokens heating up, ahead of a possible Q4 run, with some forecasts now calling between $2 to $4 by year end. Its eco-friendly, high decentralization narrative and ETF-led validation feed into that outlook. Why $10 ADA is on the horizon. Cardano hitting $10 may sound ambitious, but with the current backdrop, it's not just hopium. It's a scenario that actually has legs. You start with the ETF filing. If Grayscale's spot ADA ETF is approved, Cardano, it instantly joins Bitcoin and Ethereum in the shortlist of assets with direct Wall Street exposure. That would open up ADA to retirement accounts, institutional funds, and financial advisors who have been sidelined until now. And that demand shock, it could be significant, especially if other issuers like VanEck or 21 Shares pile in with competing funds. The institutional liquidity is what turned Bitcoin ETFs into one of the most successful fund launches in history, and ADA could see a very similar trajectory. On-chain metrics, they add fuel to the fire. Whale accumulation in August alone saw more than $150 million worth of ADA pulled off of exchanges and into long-term wallets. At the same time, staking participation remains among the highest in crypto, with millions of addresses delegating ADA across thousands of stake pools. The combination, tokens locked up in staking plus whales reducing supply in exchanges, it creates the conditions for a supply squeeze. And if the ETF-driven demand collides with that tight supply, well, upward price pressure becomes unavoidable. Then there is the technical and developmental backdrop. Cardano is entering its Voltaire era, which introduces full on-chain governance and treasury systems. If you combine that with ongoing hydroscaling upgrades and the recent $71 million core protocol fund to accelerate innovation, and you've got a blockchain actively building while much of the market just speculates. A network with active development, a thriving governance model, and institutional recognition, ADA is positioned to re-rate higher in a bull market cycle. Finally, the sentiment here matters, and ADA, or Cardano, has one of the strongest, most loyal communities in crypto. Every single bull cycle sees retail investors looking for narratives that they can rally around. And ADA's story, sustainable, peer-reviewed, highly decentralized, and now ETF ready, it fits that perfectly. And at $10 for ADA, it would sit at a market cap in line with Ethereum's current valuations during peak cycles, which is not out of reach if institutional adoption accelerates and altcoin season takes off. Cardano's next big chapter. Cardano has always been one of the most debated projects in crypto, praised for its research-first approach, critiqued for its moving slower than competitors. But with a spot ETF filing now in motion, the conversation shifts. If approved, ADA won't just be another altcoin fighting for attention. It'll be one of the very few assets with institutional-grade exposure and Wall Street validation. That will change how the market will look at Cardano, and it could unlock a wave of liquidity that reshapes its future. Make no mistake that the ADA token is already at the heart of a massive ecosystem, fueling transactions, staking rewards, and soon decentralized governance. Layer in a supply crunch from staking and whale accumulation, plus a roadmap that is packed with upgrades like Hydra scaling and Voltaire governance, and the fundamentals, they are stronger than they ever have been before. So is $10 ADA really on the horizon? With ETFs, ecosystem growth, and bullish macro tailwinds, that setup, it looks more realistic than anyone has ever thought. So let's zoom out for just a second. Cardano has the community and now has the institutional angle that it finally needs to break into a new tier of adoption. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that little notification bell so you never miss our next video. Thanks again for watching JRNY TV. As always, remember, the future belongs to those who start preparing for it today. My name is Nick, and we will catch you in the next one.